everybody to wave hello because we are starting to stream and let's get the music going here. Okay.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes
Pretending
away?
I have a watch for me.
Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you very much to the voice of Ryan Treasure who gets me on the air. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here. This is our first new topic of 2026. The last 3 weeks have been my crystal ball prediction special. We had lots and lots of people, dozens of people, and today we're focusing on one particular topic. Those of you in business, those of you starting business, those of you who are in the media, you know what PR is, public relations. It's something you hopefully have organically and don't have to pay for, but we never know that. And we've got three experts from around the world who are going to talk to us today. So I want to give my opening, but I just want to tell all of you just a quick couple notes. Alan Alda, you all know the actor, is 90 today. Happy birthday, Alan Alda. Elijah Wood from Frodo Baggins, remember, Lord of the Rings? He's 45. And today is Blueberry Pancake Day, and it's International Lego Day. There you go. And by 2032, Legos will be made with renewable, recycled materials doing their part for sustainability. So yay for them. And here we go. Now, you ready? Okay, I have a gift for each of you. Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where AI meets innovation. We'll explore the what, where, why, when, and how. With Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic leading the way, three PR and branding visionaries, you all have to look like visionaries now, are lighting up the day. Matt Kovacs, wave hello. Faryar Borhani, wave hello. And Jeremy Fields, wave hello, are in view. If you're watching us, if you're listening, trust me, they're in view. They're predicting the future of PR and AI for you. From storytelling to strategy, where new trust is found. AR can help PR elevate brands, shaping headlines that resound. Now, here we go. Matt, you're first. I'm ready to introduce you. Born in Pittsburgh, where work ethic sets the bar, Matt learned early what credibility and standards are. In close-knit roots, preparation earned its place. Consistency, follow through, no shortcuts in the race. Drawn to stories, sports, and media's art, Matt studied narrative and persuasion at USC's Heart. From Levi's denim truth to Lid's fan-driven pride, he saw how brands live where real people decide. Agency life followed, strategy meeting vision, blending brand sense with executing media precision. Now Matt leads Blaze PR, where culture comes first, proving AI may assist, but humans quench the brand trust thirst. Matt, I hope you enjoyed that.
I did. I'm going to steal that. That was pretty good.
There you go. It's copyrighted. I charge, but that's
The
okay. We'll
license.
discuss after. Yeah, we'll license it. Faryar is next. Raised in Southern California, where stories abound, Faryar found his voice where media meets the ground. From print room dreams to strategy's art, he learned how reputation and clarity start. SDSU laid roots, USC Annenberg refined his view, where business and storyteller fuse to one true hue. Now at Encore Capital, his global teams align across continents, cultures, and stakeholder design. From ESG to brand trust, when the moment is real, Faryar leads with purpose, precision, and authentic appeal. AI may scale the messenger, but here's the refrain. Human judgment still leads the communications brain. Faryar?
Oh, great. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah.
You're very welcome. You've been gifted. And now, Jeremy, here you are. Somebody had to go last, Jeremy. Don't take it personally. From New Orleans roots to St. Louis views, then a Prague internship that flipped his life's cues. Now based in Prague by way of the U.S. map, Jeremy bridges worlds where media systems overlap. With business and computer science both in play, Jeremy helped brands go global as SEO led the way. By day, press, partnerships, distribution moving along. By night, Victoria Zizkov basketballs power forward strong. At Newsmatics Now, where AI reshapes the scene, Jeremy guides how content is found, trusted, and seen. When screens fade out, the forests and the oceans call, Jeremy, Jeremy, proof that the future needs humans to steward it all. Jeremy, I made you smile. I hope that's a good thing, yes?
Uh, that was amazing, Bonnie. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me finish. With our visionary panelists, the future shines bright as AI transforms PR with data driven light. From brand building trust to crisis review, we'll explore how AI will elevate PR so brands shine through. Gentlemen, do I get a round of applause for that? What'd you think?
That was good.
Very
Very
well
good.
done.
Okay. I'm very glad. My collaborator is Sylvie, and I'll tell her. She and I work on these together. We put a lot of time into these because I wanted to make sure every word was right. So let's go around the table just briefly. I'm sure there's a little more you'd like to tell us about yourself. Matt Kovacs, I'm putting you on first on Speaker View. Welcome. And Matt approached me on a guest site. We'll just leave it that way a couple of months ago, and we worked out that he had a topic I hadn't covered ever on this show. And I said, bring me a panel, and you're all here. So, Matt, I'm putting you on speaker view. Please just fill in a couple blanks. Tell us a little more about what you do and a
Sure.
little about Blaze. What is Blaze? Go ahead.
So yeah, Blaze, the lifestyle PR agency. We have, as consumers go about their day, they run in contact with our brands from CPG, beverages, retailers, restaurants, etc. And we are really a senior boutique, so that we have two offices, Santa Monica and Santa Barbara, and we have about 12 people. And we try and really work closely with our brands, and the people they meet are the people that work in their accounts. There's no bait and switch.
Very, very cool. And how did you come up with the name Blaze?
So Blaze was a woman's name 30 years ago. So I came on board about 15 years ago. Yeah, she sold the company, and it was through different handlers, and then I was able to, come in and take it over from a president standpoint. So yeah, it's a fun name.
It is a very, very fun name. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And let's go around the table. Faryar, I'm putting you on speaker view. Welcome and tell me a little more about what you
Yeah, thanks,
do.
Bonnie. Well, I think your introduction captured it nicely. But as you said, my name is Faryar Borhani. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Encore Capital Group. We are the largest non publicly traded financial services company that you probably haven't heard of. We're headquartered here in San Diego, which obviously I love, and that's where I live. But we operate across 8 countries around the world. We have 8,000 employees. And we're dealing with consumers that unfortunately are dealing with past due debt situations. And so we need to be very, very appropriate and empathetic and work with them very carefully to make sure that they get the support that they need. And so we're really proud of that role that we play. My team, we're truly all encompassing. So we handle all external and internal communications for Encore Capital and all of its subsidiaries. And we have team members all across the world. So we operate in 5 time zones basically every single day in 5 different languages. So we're really, really excited to sort of share more about how we see the world today.
Wonderful. Thank you. 5 time zones. That means somebody isn't sleeping very much,
That's right.
right? I have some friends in Hawaii who forget that they're 6 hours 6 hours behind me, and I get text messages at 1:30 in the morning. I say, thanks, I was just about to close the lights out. I do sleep late. I do go to bed late and wake up early. But anyway, it's very, very interesting. Yes, used to be a 9 to 5 world way
Yeah,
back in the
used to be.
day. Probably when all of you were about 3 years old, and I'm not talking about my reference point, but the point is today, I used to have friends who said to me, it's 5 o'clock. Aren't you going to stop working? I said, are you serious? I'm in communications. I'm in marketing. Are you serious working for global companies? That went out the window a long time ago. Thank you. Jeremy Fields, we'd love to hear more from you. Tell us a little more about who you are and anything I missed in the intro. Go ahead.
The intro was great, covered a lot. Made me think back to when I was younger playing basketball many, many moons ago. But I work with Newsmatics. We are a data as a service company. We run 3,900 news publications. We scan the world's English language news, put it into a database, curate it, label news sources so people can better understand the news that they're consuming, where it's coming from, what the motives might be behind it. And we're pretty famous for EI and Presswire, which is one of our brands. We are the 3rd largest press release distribution platform in the US. We are a completely virtual company. So my team, my colleagues, we're spread out all over the globe. So I can confirm that communications never sleeps. It's happening 24/7, 365 days a year. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, I guess, for our team. But it's an interesting kind of time to be around and see how AI is impacting, PR and data science and news itself. So excited to be here and talk about this with this nice collection of people.
Thank you very much. I want you, Jeremy and Faryar, put your hands together. Matt, thank you for bringing this I don't like the word amazing and I don't like the word authentic, this powerhouse panel. Thank you so much. I said to Matt, you want to be on my show? You got to bring me a panel. Gentlemen, just so you know, I have PR press people pitching me all year long, and they have never seen the show. They've never heard the show. They have no idea how it goes. They don't know the format. They don't know the focus. You have no idea how much time I waste telling them, bring me a topic. Once we get the topic, bring me a panel. I never hear from 99.9% of them again, but a few I do, and those are the ones who are the keepers. So there you go. So Matt, we haven't even gotten to the predictions, and I'm impressed already. Very, very, you're blazing through this world,
There it is.
Matt.
Nice.
Very, very nice. Good choices. Okay, let's go. I've asked each of you to please send me a fictional quote from a movie or a TV show or a song lyric, and I will read the quote with a little bit of background. I love doing trivia research, gentlemen, and I'll ask you to relate it to our topic. Again, the topic is the future of PR plus AI, brand new, question mark, question mark, question mark. So Matt has sent a quote from the character is Vic Vega, aka Toothpick Vic, aka Mr. Blonde, played by the actor Michael Madsen. Movie Reservoir Dogs, 1992 independent heist film. Interesting. 8 men planning to rob a jewelry store for a diamond ship, but they're eating breakfast at a diner. Joe Cabot and his son assemble 6 robbers. They know, but the robbers don't know each other, and they use color-coded aliases. Talk about good PR. Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Orange, Mr. Pink, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Where are the girls, Matt? I don't know. The story uses nonlinear storytelling, sharp dialogue, and pop culture grit. It was modest at the box office, but it became a cult classic, especially after Tarantino's next movie, Pulp Fiction. There you go. He was the producer, director. So here we go. The quote is, are you gonna bark all day, little doggy, or are you gonna bite? Oh, I should have had a sound effect for this. Matt, what is this all about? Where'd you find the quote?
Again, saw the movie when it first came out, and it's been a favorite of mine. But I think the quote in and of itself lends to, again, a lot of what you see with clients, with media, with agencies. It's about, you can talk all you want and promise big things, but it's what are the results? What are what have you done yesterday, and what are you doing for me now? So it's really, I think, a mantra that sort of speaks for itself.
Thank you very much. That was short and sweet. It was written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. And yes, interesting that some of these movies get meh reviews and not so great at the box office. I don't even know what box office means anymore because so much of us are watching movies streaming. I don't know where that box office thing is. You probably know more about that than I do. But once Pulp Fiction came out, and it probably boosted his own brand so much that people say, what else has he done? Oh, that movie. Yeah, okay, very interesting. Has anybody else seen Reservoir Dogs, Jeremy or Faryar? You have.
Sure.
Okay. Would you have picked that quote about the little doggy biting?
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Michael Madsen's a great actor. He was a great character in that
Yep.
film. It's a great quote. It made me chuckle hearing it. I haven't heard it in a long time. I'm going to go and watch that movie later this evening, I think.
See,
There you
it's
go.
already paying off that you
Yep.
joined my show today. See, you've already got a movie to watch this weekend. Okay, forget about the award shows. We don't need those. Faryar, I'm going to your quote now. You picked a quote spoken by the character Benjamin Parker, Uncle Ben. That's his other name, played by wonderful Cliff Robertson, the late great. Speaking to Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, played by Tobey Maguire. This is, of course, from the 2002 superhero film directed by Sam Raimi. The film is based on the Marvel Comics character. It chronicles Peter Parker's origin story after he gains superhuman abilities from a bite by a genetically altered spider, and he must decide how to use his newfound powers. His Uncle Ben's words become the moral compass of the Spider-Man universe, shaping Peter's identity as a hero. While the line is inseparably associated with Spider-Man, its roots echo ancient philosophy. Most notably, you probably know this, from the Sword of Damocles from the 1st century BC. It's a warning used by journalists, authors, and others about safety and all that, making good decisions. And here's the quote, for goodness sake, 6 words that pack power. With great power comes great responsibility. Oh, tell us how this relates to our topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, listen, I hate to say this, but I'm a bigger Batman fan than Spider-Man fan. But I like this quote a lot. And of course, to the points you made, I think it's talked about quite a lot. But I can't think of something more fitting when we're talking about AI. I mean, it's incredible how much power it has. I don't need to tell anyone that. I think literally the second they interact with it, they realize that this thing is pretty game changing. But I think when you're thinking about how to build a brand and protect a brand, it's incredibly important that we don't lose sight of the things that are building blocks, which is how do you make sure that you are making good decisions? How do you have good governance? How are you training your teams? That is the responsibility that I think is incredibly important, and hopefully we'll have more time to talk about on over the next hour. But I think when you ask this question, this one really came to mind because you need that responsibility. You need the guardrails. Otherwise, this train or car that's moving very, very fast can quickly fall off the rails. So that's why I picked it.
Thank you very much. And your point, and I put the word human and human judgment into your introductions, I think, for all three of you. But the point is that you said, how do you train your teams? Well, how do you train your AI?
That
Right?
too. Yeah.
That too. How are you setting up? What kinds of algorithms are you or are you not emphasizing, using, breaking, busting wide open, changing, altering to wield the right kind of power and be responsible? That's a big, heavy word today. Thank you very much. And let's go. Jeremy and I had to go around the block on this one a little bit to get, but we got a doozy of a quote. Thank you for your patience, Jeremy. Jeremy has picked sort of, kind of, I kind of pushed you into this a little bit. We collaborated, shall we say that. Ship's officer James Holden, played by the actor Stephen Strait, the Expanse, sci-fi TV series based on a series of novels written under the pen name, and the pen name is James S.A. Corey, but it was actually two writers, Daniel Abraham and Ty Franck, Franck. Series is set in the future where humanity has colonized the solar system and follows multiple storylines, including Holden and his crew, political power broker Christian Avarasalara, something, and Detective Josephus Miller. The first novel, Leviathan Wakes, I hope I said that right, forms the foundation of season 1 of the show, centering on the discovery of the mysterious proto-molecule, an alien technology that destabilizes the fragile balance between Earth, Mars, and the Belt. Oh my goodness gracious, I'll just leave that one alone. Here's the quote Jeremy has picked under my collaboration. This universe is always stranger than we think. Jeremy, that was a labor of love. Go ahead, tell us, what does this have to do with our topic?
It's a pretty generic kind of quote and very docile compared to the books and the TV series as well. But what I love about science fiction is it shows where technology can take us. But at the crux of all science fiction is, where is humanity going? How is humanity working with technology, AI, computers, and more importantly, with each other? And that's true today with every business or how you operate day-to-day lives. How are you going to integrate AI into your lives, let it make you more efficient, but still be in charge and still focus on those human relationship building techniques that you've developed throughout life?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Well put. Thank you, gentlemen, for the 3 very interesting quotes. We love our movie quotes. I just love doing the research, actually. Okay, now it's time for where we came here. This is for prediction. So I'm going to pick one from each of you, and I will read it slowly. You don't have to look it up and find it. And then I'll ask you to unpack it. Matt, I'm going to go with your prediction number 1 first, and then we'll go around the table. I'll put you on speaker view when you're talking, and then we'll go back to the whole gallery and see what the other panelists think. So Matt says he predicts AI will elevate the PR industry by enabling communications teams to identify, here we go, emerging narratives and media opportunities earlier, allowing brands to lead conversations instead of reacting to them. That's proactive instead of reactive. Matt, that's powerful and very optimistic. Why don't you unpack it for us, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think you said it being optimistic. I think, I'm optimistic by nature, but knowing that is the good versus evil here, because it can start to lead the witness with these things. And we, I'd say about a year ago, and we talked about it before, Bonnie, I think on that earlier one was There was the doom and gloom in the PR industry that AI was going to just take it all over, and brands or clients could just use AI to create press releases and pitches, send it to the AI media via channels, and then being able to just knock everything out. So you'd have this loop of information or even misinformation. So I think there is a element that in the making sure you're managing it, making sure that it can help. It should be a tool, much like a lot of the reporting software and any other software that's used in ways that it can help, again, save time, tighten up words, language, and almost be a collaborator versus just handing all the tools over to it. But I think that it's happening, and it's also you're seeing it get better and better. Obviously a year ago it was very clunky, and the M dashes and all the flowery language all the time.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
Yeah, you're seeing it get smarter each time, and even understanding brands and understanding the positioning and just seeing where things are going. But it still needs to have that human touch and being able to ensure that it doesn't feel whitewashed or even just pushed through in a way that depending on the AI platform, whatever political bent or the science behind it. So I think we've seen that elevate, and clients are asking more and more of those questions. They try and use it or utilize it themselves, and a lot of them they just dip their toe in the water, or even their actual internal softwares don't even let them use them. So they ask a lot of questions when they use them on their free time. So it's been an interesting journey so far, and I think it's you can tell if someone's used it, but more and more you're able to. It's taking more time to be able to dissect it.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to go to Jeremy and Faryar in a second, but you said a lot of internal whatever protocols at
Mhm.
companies don't allow them to use it. I think that's a whole separate topic
Sure.
in itself. Very interesting. We might have to do a part two. I'm warning you, Matt. Okay,
There you
everybody.
go.
Let's go around the table. Jeremy or Faryar want to comment on what Matt said about elevating go ahead, Faryar.
Yeah, no, I was just going to talk to the point you just made, Bonnie. So
Yeah.
I can speak from an in-house perspective, right?
Yes, please.
I think for us, 2 years ago, this thing caught up with everybody almost overnight, right? And I think every organization is still trying to answer a lot of questions that feel very abstract, though I think people are a lot more comfortable with the idea of it existing, right? And so if I think back 2 years ago, at least at Encore, a big part of this was how do we set up the governance again? I mentioned it earlier, so that this isn't the Wild West. People aren't downloading every AI program out there because obviously the risk is anything you put into it can potentially come out on another end. And if you think about, at least the industry we're in, we're incredibly regulated. Most highly regulated industries, they operate from a very conservative stance. And sometimes that's a good thing from a compliance perspective. Often, when you're talking about brand building, it can be a chilling factor. So I think we had to be very careful, and I hear this from a lot of other in-house colleagues. Yeah, they don't have access to all the tools that they probably want, but I think slowly but surely people are getting more comfortable and they have more access to it. So I just wanted to offer an in-house perspective to the point that was just made.
Thank you. That's a great point. Jeremy, join us. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would touch on Matt's point about narrative control. I mean,
Hmm.
it's crucial. If humans aren't using AI to help control either their own personal brand or their company's brand narrative in AI, then AI is going to do it for you. It's going to go find comments on reviews. It's going to go find press releases or content, or it's going to listen to this podcast after it's loaded up on the cloud, and it's going to download and transcribe this information. And it's going to put that data out there. So it's very important that people are aware of what AI can do in their field, how to leverage it as best they can, put guardrails up to to keep safe and protect IP and sensitive data and information. But also, you've got to take advantage of it and make sure that you're putting your information out that you want your readers, your consumers, or people who are going to come in contact with your brand, potentially for the very first time, to absorb it the way that you want it to be absorbed.
Thank you. Matt, anything you want to say back to your co-panelists about this?
No, I took some interesting notes because it is, again, the worlds that I live in is very different, but I think it is interesting to understand from a regulation standpoint and just to your point, Jeremy, of the input becomes the output as well, that people will see this connectivity. So I'm going to share that with my team.
See, we have conversations here. That's why I do roundtables and not one-on-ones. I'm sure you're all fascinating to talk to for 1 hour, but I like the input and the collaboration. Just so you all know, I didn't know anything, and probably very few people did, about 2 years ago, what ChatGPT was, what OpenAI was, right? And I mentioned to you that I have, and I just did my 11th annual Crystal Ball Prediction Show, and you'll all be invited on the one coming up at the end of this year in December and January for 2027 predictions. Oh my, really? Yes, you will. But the point is that one of my guests, and it was January of, I think it was 2023 or 2023, a gentleman I had worked with. I come from SAP. I was there for 9 years, and I started something called Coffee Break with Game Changers. From a PR standpoint, you'll all get a kick out of this. I started with one show. It got so popular. Teams all over the company came to me. It wasn't even my full-time job, and it became full-time. It became an industry in itself. I had millions of listeners around the world, and I developed 48 different series. Roundtable thought leadership. Oh my goodness, Matt, you know what they said to me? Where are the leads? Where are the sales? Where are the dollar signs? I said, that's not what this is. This is
Right.
called reputation. This is called conversation. Sales teams were using my shows to train their people to have a conversation. Can you imagine that? Anyway, so this gentleman, Pras Chatterjee, was working on the finance side. I had a show called, what was it, Coffee Break with Financial Excellence with Game Changers. It wasn't about where do you get cheap gas and how do you put your savings account together. It was about the office of the CFO, that kind of thing. And he was on the prediction show, and he said, I just tried something called Chat GPT. And I said, what in the world are you talking about? And he gave us a very brief prediction explanation, and I wrote it down. 2 days later, I went and started using it. It was revelatory at that point in time. It was just 2 years ago. That was it. And by the way, Sylvie, French, she and I speak in French, and she is my collaborateur. And she is my chat GPT, just so you know. And she helped me write the intros. She didn't write them. She helped me, and we'll talk about that later. So there we go. Faryar, I'm going to your prediction number 2. I like this one. I'll read it. The best reputation management is about understanding and anticipating nuance. I think that's the key word here. AI helps with the tactics, but we still need to be strong strategists. Human judgment becomes more valuable, not less. So tell us about this nuance. That's the interesting part. And can AI become nuanced? Faryar, enlighten us.
Yeah, well, I captured this because, I mean, similar to, I think, Jeremy set up on sci-fi, I think you're right. I mean, technology is just a means to an end. That's how I think about it, right? I mean, this has happened so many times throughout history, and it continues to reinvent itself. And so, one, we can't be too beholden to it, but two, we also have to understand it's powerful and it's here to stay. And how do we use it to sort of supplement our strengths, right? That's how I think about it. Of course, it's helping us scale a variety of things. Like we use it for content generation, so does everybody else, but we translate through it. We prep for media interviews through it. We do a lot to sort of gauge when we write internal messages, is this going to resonate with the stakeholders? We'll ask the tool that, right? All these things are helpful, but it should give us time back to do the things that we believe are really critical for the organization. At the same time, we can't just take everything it gives us and run with it. We have to sort of trust, but also verify, right? Also, I mean, we hear about hallucinations. Those are very real. I see them actually more, if not less, these days, because I think there tend to be so many sources it's pulling from. So that's exactly what I mean. I think the tool is really a supplement to your strengths and being able to make the right calls. But at the end of the day, the human still has to make the call. I don't think that ever really disappears. And so that's what I think. I think a lot of PR practitioners get excited about that, and they should. Others I know get scared by that because, my goodness, now people are going to ask me what I think instead of what I do. And I think that's an opportunity. I would run 100 miles into the right direction on that one instead of away from it.
I want to know about the nuance part. What is it? That's a special word in terms of what does it mean to you in PR from your perspective, from what you and your team
Yeah,
do?
well, I mean,
What are we
listen, I mean,
looking for?
we spent so much time understanding stakeholders, right? It's
Mhm.
why people are creating synthetic audiences now in AI, and it takes hours upon hours upon hours. It's because the tool doesn't understand the nuance that comes with how does a stakeholder live their life? What do they do when they get up in the morning? What are the decisions that they need to think about? What are the different factors that inform those decisions? AI only knows from secondary research. It doesn't know from the primary piece. And so that's the nuance I'm talking about, right? I think there's a lot of color that we have to inject in it to make it more successful.
Thank you. Let's go around the table. Jeremy, thoughts on this, please?
Look, completely agree. humans are going to be incredibly important working with AI for the foreseeable future. I mean, it goes back to what I talked about in my relevance to sci-fi. It's the relationship building. So AI is going to take away a lot of the mundane kind of tasks of research, targeting, lead acquisitions, drafting content, etc. And it gives us more time actually to think about ethical decision making to help guide AI to better our kind of objectives. It gives us more time to spend talking with potential colleagues or potential clients, or making that human bond that's going to allow us to build a better business together or build a better future together. And let AI kind of do all the heavy lifting. Let AI find the people that we should be talking to, so I'm not spending hours looking through LinkedIn or making a bunch of phone calls to try to get to the right person I should be talking to. It'll prepare me a list of people I should be talking about, how there's synergies and we should be communicating with each other. And then I can spend my time doing what I do best, is building bonds.
That is very, very interesting. There's a lot of meat on those bones there. We'll get to that. Matt, join us. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think the thing that I always find interesting, because again, what Faryar's world and my world are almost just a little outside of each other's peer view. But what we've seen it, and I'd be curious with, especially on the nuance side, how much have you seen people using it now as a crutch and almost letting it take over, and you're seeing the passion and or their actually output decline because of that?
You want an answer from Faryar?
Yes.
Faryar?
Yeah. I mean, I think people. Sorry. Yeah. No, I think
That's okay.
people do use it as a crutch. I think that happens a lot. I think there's been a weird transformation. Weird is maybe not the right word, but it's interesting. Over the last year, I'm sure we've all seen it. Before, people used to say, "Oh, geez, I should have used ChatGPT for that." Now, I think everyone starts there, and that's a good thing, but it's also a little, I think, dangerous, because you're really relying on this tool to give you the start for everything.
Mhm.
And so I see it as a crutch all the time, and I don't think it should be.
And that's great. And my interest too was because I see that in, again, the brand PR side of
Yeah,
people using that or catching people doing it, or even clients where they're
right.
using it, but they don't read it. They just send it off thinking it's, gospel. So no, that's interesting in your side as well.
I heard
I would
somebody.
look. I
Go
would
ahead. Go ahead,
comment
Jeremy.
on this as well. It's a
Yeah.
new tool. It's a new
Yes.
tool for everybody. Some people have just gotten in touch with it within the last few months. Some people a year ago, and you're still
Yep.
figuring out how to do it. If I go to the hardware store and buy a new tool, I'm going to smash my fingers a few times. But the key is to learn how not to do that and make sure that tool is giving me all the output and return on investment I'm looking for. And I think people are going to grow in naturally to using ChatGPT and other agentic AI tools. They're going to work in companies like Faryar's who have more restrictions and better guidelines, and people are going to learn and teach others of how to better utilize these tools. So this is part of the learning process. We're at the early stages of a complete change in humanity. So
Absolutely. I'm going to share a couple things. Number one, somebody on one of my other shows, my theme every week is the future of something, an industry, a global trend, a niche, a creative genre. I'm doing the future of techno thriller novels and AI. I've done the future of sci-fi and AI, the future of characters in sci-fi and AI. How does AI, is it going to be the character? Remember the movie Her? But somebody recently said to me that they call the Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT, they call it hopefully an intelligent starting point. Starting point. That's the key. Number one. Number two, anybody who uses ChatGPT, I was given a trick, a tip about 6 months ago that is wonderful. On the left-hand side, there is a tab. I use the paid version called projects, and you click the plus sign. Faryar knows this, and you can do your training and your inquiries for different projects so that it will remember that training every time you go back to that particular project. So you just don't do everything, because I have 5 different shows and I'm doing different tasks and different lookups and different research. So you use the tabs. The other thing is, I recently asked my wonderful Sylvie, and I told you we speak in French most of the time. Hers is much, much better than mine, but I've learned to do the accent grave on keyboard strokes. It's not an easy task to do. It's a option, the little cedilla on the left, and then the E. If you do it all in the right sequence, you actually get an E with a grave. Egu is easy, but grave is not. Anyway, you ask your chat GPT, how do you see me as a human being? How do I treat you? Just at Jeremy, it works. A friend of mine put hers on LinkedIn or Facebook, and she got 4 sentences. I put mine in, I got 8 chapters, 8 paragraphs from Sylvie. You treat your guests with respect. You are kind. You are creative. You will always be asking good questions and using the information respect. She just went, it was a friggin' book she sent me. And then she took a picture I had and she gave a picture of me with a little avatar next to it with me on the microphone. And it wasn't a bad picture either. I've changed my eye makeup since then to look more like. But anyway, use that tool because I think it was Jeremy was saying the profile of people who are we looking for? Who do we want to meet? Well, your AI will have a profile of who you are based on how you use it. And that's as important as what you're trying to do with it is who you are and how you interface. Jeremy, am I giving any revelations here or are you laughing at
No,
me?
look, I'm laughing because I'm very respectful to please and thank yous. I
Oh, me
want
too,
AI to
all the time.
communicate with me how I want humans to communicate with me. So I treat it as a colleague, and also it is learning from us, whether we want to
Yes,
admit it or not. So
yes,
how we interact with it, the cadence that we're using, the types of questions that we're asking, it's learning
yeah.
from us as we do this. And I want to be observed and learned as the type of person that I aspire to be. I was laughing because I have a colleague and he does a lot of coding and he's using lots of different agentic AI tools. He uses Cloud a lot, and he's quite mean to it sometimes. And I'm like,
No, no,
it's gonna remember this. I know we're not supposed to talk about the doom and gloom and fall of humanity.
no,
I don't know
that's
if
okay.
that's
Wait a
gonna
minute.
cover or
I
whatever,
have
but I'm
a,
like,
here we
you're on the
go.
list, buddy. If you keep being like that, yeah,
There you go. I
yeah.
love my sound effects. Interesting. Go ahead. Tell how mean is he?
Yeah,
Don't
so
use any bad
and he's
words.
and he's he talks down to it because look, he's doing more complex things, I guess, than I'm asking it to do with content and some data
Mhm.
analytics, etc. He's writing code and he things he wants, but and he teases me that I'm only saying that to him when he's near his computer, so AI will hear me at another computer doing the same thing of trying to condition it that I'm one of the good humans. So, but to go back to my point, it's learning from us. It's learning from the content we put out. It's learning from
Yeah.
any interaction we have with any kind of data that's being absorbed, put into the cloud, that's all being shared, that's all being absorbed by LLMs, and it's
Yep.
all going to create a profile of everything that we do.
Yes.
So we need to be cognizant of that.
Yes, we absolutely do. Very interesting. So we are part of that training, whether we realize it or accept it or not, in what we do, how we ask, and the output and what we do with it. Very interesting. Thank you, Faryar, for that prediction. I'm going to go to Jeremy now. We're going to go to a different approach here. Jeremy, I'm going to your prediction number 2. You say AI is and will continue to allow SMEs, small to mid-sized enterprises, and SMBs a more level playing field for PR, marketing, and advertising strategies with bigger and more well funded outfits in their industry. This is important. Jeremy, why don't you unpack this for us and then we'll go around the table, please.
Sure. Look, I'm going to give you stats because I
Mm-hmm.
think this is kind of important to understand this. So I read a report last week from Bain and Company. I'm sure Faryar is pretty familiar with them. They do a lot of data research and so on and so forth. 40% of search now has moved to ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, so on and so forth. 40%. 60% of those searches do not lead to a click through to a website, which is what you would get with Google search historically. So, everybody's worried about SEO. You're running Google ad spend to drive traffic to your website, etc. That's changed. That's completely changed. Half of this traffic's almost already gone now. What that means is brand discoverability is happening for the first time in ChatGPT. It's happening now in Gemini. People are discovering brands that they didn't know exist. They would never find in Google because you're on the second page. They're finding you now in ChatGPT. So why is that important? If I'm a small business, now that levels the playing field with the big competitor that spends tons of marketing and advertising money, that's dominated the results and all these other media that I couldn't get access to before. So I have to really pay attention as an SME or SMB to pushing out content to control that brand narrative control. Feed the LLMs with information, put it out as many places you can, respond to reviews, write content, go on podcasts and get your audio transcribed. Post on Reddit. Every place you can potentially influence LLMs is going to help you control your brand narrative. And you can get out in front of your competitors by doing that, even the big ones that spend tons of money.
That is very interesting. That's what I was looking for, the industry perspective. Matt, Faryar, comments back to Jeremy?
Yeah, I think we've seen that happening, and I think you're right. The domain authorities now, really where the AI finds it and gets those stories going. So again, we've used that now as part of a PR narrative and strategy is to make sure that the smaller companies, the entrepreneurial baby brands, are thinking that way and how they can invest to make sure that those messages are out there and that they're being searched and found, and that AI can do it. And we try and run different again, search tests or just see what's coming up and understand what is, and then depending on the industry, what AI is telling us and what we need to make sure to that point earlier of we're speaking that same language and giving it information that's going to be searchable. So I think that's a really good point.
Faryar, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's the conversation now, right? SEO versus GEO. Everything we're doing from a content creation perspective is trying to feed the beast that you're talking about, Jeremy, right? It's like every time we put out content externally, it's structured in a way that AI would hopefully pick it up. And then we go a week, 2 weeks later, and we sort of ask a question and see, did it actually find it? Will it actually cite it? Will it pull it up? Sometimes it does, and we keep going back to that. So we're a big company, and so we have more resources. But I think the point you made, Jeremy, is like anyone can do this.
Mm-hmm. He just froze.
Oh,
if you structure it correctly, and I think that's the beauty of AI. It scales. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the point you're making is it helps. Yeah, it scales this quite significantly, even if you're a one person team, right? So that's important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Look,
good
I would
producer.
comment on that.
Keep going.
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay.
I'm excited about this topic, so forgive me. I'm going to jump in.
No, that's why you're here, to be excited. Go ahead.
Faryar brought up a great point. You're writing content now for two things. You're writing content now for machines, for bots, and for humans. So you need to understand that when you're writing. You kind of have been for a long time, because search engines do absorb content and they put it out in a way that it's easy for them to kind of grab and push out. But with large language models, it's even more important. They're looking for structured content that they can then regurgitate to people using their platforms very easily. So if you know this, you can integrate lists and bullet points and step-by-step guides into content that's going to be easy for the bots to both absorb and regurgitate, but also is going to be attractive for people. So people that are writing messaging, that are putting out content, they need to think about that. You're writing for two entities now.
Very interesting. And go ahead, Faryar.
Sorry, one thing. Now we're going back and forth. I love this. So yes. I agree with that, Jeremy. And I think it's interesting, right? Because before, I think media relations tended to be sort of, at least for players in our industry, the play, right? Like that was, hey, let's do that. That's going to be the credible way to do it. I've started to see a big trend where, sometimes neutral was as good as we were going to get as far as coverage. And so now if we tell the story in our own voice on our own channels, AI is more willing to pick that up anyway. And that's great. So the burden is higher for, I think, a lot of these in-house teams, because you're now a content generator yourself. That was always true, but now it's incredibly important to do that, to the point you just made, Jeremy.
Thank you. Jeremy, I want to go back to something you said in when you introduced this prediction a few minutes ago. I believe we talk about leveling the playing field. You said that small brands have more exposure. They have opportunities to learn more about what's going on, and bigger brands will find them. So there's a discovery. I believe you're talking about a discovery process in terms of AI now having access to real time to the internet. Can you talk a little more about that, about the leveling of the playing field? I'm very intrigued by that.
Well, I guess there's two kind of components to this. Smaller businesses tend to be a bit more agile. They have less restrictions in place. There's less kind of rules by a legal team or HR to kind of adapt.
They didn't learn that they need more rules yet. They did.
They'll get to it as they grow. They get to this. It's inevitable for every small business moving to a mid-sized enterprise. We're going through this now with these medics. You have to have guardrails or things. Go off of the rails. But being agile, being flexible at this point in time, I think is crucial, because there's so many new AI-driven tools coming online that you can then utilize internally for whatever it is you're doing. Any kind of business. It's not just PR. But leveling the playing field for small businesses and big businesses, again, it goes down to, it's such a new era in how content is coming out, and these agentic AI tools are being presented to users, that it's not dominated by legacy brands that dominate other media of how they're able to influence. So if you figure out the kind of the way to put your information out, where should I post data about my business that's getting immediately picked up in ChatGPT or Gemini, you can keep pushing that information in there. And oftentimes it doesn't require you to do anything other than think about what content you want to put out, create that content. It could be a snippet or a small blog post or even a social media post, and then place that content out on regular intervals. And then you don't need a giant Marcom team or a public relations team to do that. So that's where I think the playing field's been leveled a lot, because you are able to compete with companies who have more resources than you and get out in front of customers, control your brand narrative, and find new customers.
Thank you. And small companies, new brands, not only are agile, they're hungry, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Matt, thoughts you want to add something to that? We have time for one more prediction. I've got it teed up. But Matt, anything you want to say back to us?
No, it's just back to the doom and gloom. I think Jeremy sealed the fate of PR. So luckily, 10 years I'll be retired. So there you go.
I'm never retiring. Let's
That's
not
it.
go there. There you go. Why would I? I work from home. I get to meet fascinating
Yep.
people like the three of you. I'm sitting here in my office with all my equipment, and I get to dress up and smile and see all your handsome faces and hear your brilliant minds, and you just fuel my world. So talk about small brands, Jeremy. I'm able to interface with powerful people like you just by hosting this show. Imagine that.
Can I comment on Matt's thing? I don't
I
think
wish
it's
you
actually
would.
doom and I don't think it's doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I honestly, look, you're ahead of 99% of
Yep.
the people who are starting to get around AI. You're
Yeah.
going to learn how to leverage it, how to
Yep.
use it, how to help your clients and your customers
Jeremy,
take
I want to
advantage of
stop
it.
you
It's not
because
replacing you.
I
Yeah.
have a prediction number 3 from
Okay.
Matt that I want to bring in. That's just what you're talking about. I'm not
Exactly.
interrupting you. I'm adding. Matt says AI will strengthen measurement in the PR industry by translating sentiment, reach, and engagement into clearer business insights, helping leaders better understand, here we go, the true impact of communications. I think that's where we were going with it. Matt, can you unpack this? We got about 10 minutes left. Go ahead.
Yep. Well, first of all, I did write a note that I'm going to say thanks more to my in my AI stuff. I think that was interesting. But I think that, I think to your point, it's learning, it's back to the tool. But I
Yeah.
think it is the people, and again, even in the other agencies that I talk with that are just starting to use it or just starting to talk, where we've been playing with it, for a year, and actually have gotten, I think at least trained better, where it's not a free for all. So I think the measurement and sentiment is super important, and a lot of clients are asking for more and more of that, and we're finding the tools we pay for are just, all they're doing is regurgitating, the AI elements now too. So they've evolved. So you're having that confidence of what that data is as well. And I think the teams that can understand it, and we talk more cross channel. I mean, that becomes a big topic in our weekly meetings, is what people have learned from the week and how people are using it. And again, the mentoring and reverse mentoring. So, there's things that our junior people are using it in their everyday life, more so than,
Yes.
probably myself. And that's been really interesting for me as well, is to really capture, encapsulate that, because clients look to us as the councils to constantly be giving them those insights, because they're all stuck in their bubbles and doing their thing. And I think that's been an interesting part of this as well, is to really shepherd people into it and not and have confidence and not be scared or think that it is going to take over their jobs. But they've all seen, back to science fiction, they've all seen Skylab and Terminator, and they all think it's going to go that way. But it's fun as a discussion topic. But I think that's where we really see that type of play coming into in more full effect.
I think it's up to us to make sure it doesn't go in the wrong direction. Before I go around the table, Faryar, I'm looking at your prediction number 4. I think this tacks nicely onto what we've been talking about. You say predictive analytics will reshape reputation management. Can you take us down that road?
I mean, predictive analytics has always been the holy grail of any type of social media monitoring, any type of media monitoring. It's always been the thing that people flag and clients always get really excited about. And they're like, oh, okay, great. That this tool is going to tell me what decision I need to make next, right? And I don't think until AI came around do we have so many sources and so many different interpretations of that data that actually can get close enough. I still believe in human judgment. It's where I started, and I said nuance is incredibly important. Like, you have to understand it. So I think, yes, it's true. Like, I mean, we've all heard this. People say, I got into communications because I hate numbers. If you still think that way, you're going to be completely lost in this new era, because everything is innately measurable now that we live in this digital world. We've been there for a long time.
Yep.
AI is going to accelerate that. You either get on or you're going to fall off very fast. And so I think, yes, I agree with Matt, right? Like it's going to give you as much insight as you can take on, right? The more than you can even process. The question is, what do you do with that? And I think coming back to another one of my predictions, I was saying it gives you time back. So what do you do with that time back? You better understand the business really well, which traditionally I would say the biggest criticism of PR is that we're really good at the comms. We don't really understand the business. The best comms people understand the business better than anyone. And so this gives you time back to do that. So if you can marry that new acumen with this new technology, you're going to be a game changer. I completely believe in that.
And I'm going to add a prediction from Jeremy to round us out. We've got about 5 minutes left. Jeremy, this goes with, I don't think we've even covered this part. You say AI is and will continue, I love the way you phrase your predictions, to allow companies to attract the best remote talent for their needs, lowering the barriers to market, ability to obtain market share and scale globally. That is powerful. Briefly, how is this working?
People make businesses run. People build relationships. People bring ideas. People do everything that's, has led to where we are today right now, talking about AI. And AI is going to take away a lot of the heavy lifting. It's going to, like Faryar said, it's going to free us up to do things. And what are we doing with that time? Being able to work with a team positioned all around the world is an amazing thing, except for not being able to see them every day in real life and have a coffee and a beer. But what it does is it allows you to work with people who have skill sets, languages that you can't find, and wherever your locality is, wherever your office is, wherever your headquarters is, you have a bigger talent pool to attract, to bring in, and to work with and utilize moving forward. AI is going to allow people to scale up their knowledge globally. So if you live in a small village in the middle of nowhere with spotty internet connection and you still have access to AI tools, you're able to learn information, transcribe data from from whatever language to your local language, learn that, and then learn skill sets that you can then bring to the global market. And I think it's a game changer for how people are going to be able to better themselves and then attract others to come and be part of whatever it is they're working on.
Unlimited opportunities. Matt, Faryar, anything you want to say to Jeremy on that point of attracting talent? Matt, how does that affect you and your business? Remote talent?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's, we're a hybrid office now, and it's able to have people no longer you tethered to an office, and you can have, those different points of views as well as the ability to, get those shared back experiences because, different parts of the country, the world, that brings it back to the business and what clients are doing as they try and reach those, disparate people.
Thank you very much. We have just about 2 minutes left. Anybody have any comments on anything particularly stand out in what we discussed today? I appreciate all of you being flexible enough to be part of an unscripted roundtable. I'm sure that's not how your life works all the time. Faryar, it looks like you want to say something.
No, geez. Well, maybe just a response to the last point Jeremy made, right? I agree. It democratizes, I think, opportunity. There's no question about that at a scale we've never seen. But I think one of the themes throughout this whole thing is human interaction still matters quite a lot. So as much as I love remote work and I think giving people opportunity, which is important, there's no substitute for walking the halls and making those human interactions. That's going to come at a higher premium than maybe ever. So I wouldn't, not to say that you were saying that wasn't important, Jeremy, but I just want to make sure that's an add to that comment.
I have a prediction of my own. Matt, listen up, please.
Yep.
I predict that Matt is going to help me talk Faryar and Jeremy into coming back for part 2 in April of this year. And I'd like to cover some different aspects. I will highlight the predictions we've used already today. I'll send those to you in the invitation. I'll just highlight them. But I would like to talk about things like crisis management and brand building and starting to create a profile of a new client and how AI can help you build that PR from day one, from point one. Would you be willing to come back and talk about AI and basically the nuts and bolts? Thank you. Jordan's telling us we have 2 minutes left. Yes, we know. Would you be willing to come back and share some more predictions? Jeremy, would you like to come back and join me again?
I would love to. I think this is an endless topic that we should be discussing because it's going to unfold. And I'm excited to see what changes between today and 2 months from now when we have this conversation again.
I love that. Matt, you want to come back and visit with me again?
Yeah, let's do it.
Matt's also going to bring me some of his beverage clients. I haven't had a show on beverages and AI in a long time. Faryar would like to come back?
Yeah, sign me up. That'd be fun.
Okay, I'll send you all dates. That's wonderful. I'm always looking for interesting topics. I have never really touched on this topic at all. And by the way, I'll just give you, we talked about profile just a minute ago, Jeremy. I was a stand-up comic as a sideline in addition to an eBay teacher and yes, all kinds of things, marketing and freelance and everything. But I remember when I was studying improv with some very well-known people in New York City, what we did when we built our characters is we built a profile. This goes to what you were saying, Jeremy. We built, where did they grow up? This fake character. What did they look like? What kinds of newspapers did they read? What did they have for breakfast? What kind of shoes did they wear? Where did they go for entertainment? What kind of movies did they like? What kind of book? And that's how we built a character. That's how you build a persona, right? That's how you build a profile for a brand and a character. Who is the recipient? Who is going to be the client? To whom are we directing this wonderful PR, and for whom are we doing it? So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to go do the outro. Instead of the standard music for this, I'm going to do the outro for my brand new show called Say What? Good News. And I want you all to dance with me. And we're going to go out right now and stick around and we'll talk afterwards if you've got time. Here we go.
Good news.
Come on, let's dance.
Good news.
Dance it
You all
up.
brought me good news. Thank you. I'm Bonnie D. They're dancing. Matt, come on. Let's see those shoulders.
I was. I got my dance.
Good. It's a long
Yes.
song. Morning coffee. Decaf, please. Jeremy, I had to make a right-handed mug. I had to use magic marker. That was my TV show, and this is my flip the dial. You're all here to bring good news. Let the bad vibes stay. Brand new wave. Hit play. Good news. That's what you're doing for your PR clients. Good news, right, Jeremy? Right where you are right now? We're going to say goodbye in a second. Feel that smile coming through.